Testing, testing.
Hey, Q, you want to start off with the intro?
Uh, However you want to do it, my brother.
I can't even sign into this.
Testing, testing. What up? We live. Just Cooling Podcast. I'm DJ Quinn, and your host over
Country
there
Red,
is
Country Red, live on location now, 1 and 8.
and we got a special guest tonight, Big Brother Steve. What's up, brother?
What's going on, fellas, man? I'm just cooling, you know what I'm saying? And
Hey,
happy to be here, man. I really appreciate the love, man.
and we appreciate you coming through, definitely.
Yes, sir.
How's everything been going with you, man?
Oh, man, no complaints. Just trying to stay healthy and COVID free
All
and
right.
keeping my family the same way.
Tell
So,
everybody who you are, what you do.
okay. So, what's up, world? Steve Stevens II, proud Tulsa, Oklahoma native, currently residing in Baltimore, Maryland, but right outside of Baltimore, Maryland. Small area called Towson, Maryland. I work at Bowie State University where I oversee fraternity and sorority life along with community service. I also do public speaking for a firm that Lead Firm Speaks. Social media, same thing, Lead Firm. And right now I'm coaching high school football for a team called the Perry Hall Gators. So I stay busy and a proud husband and father of four.
Man, that's awesome, man. Awesome. So, could you tell us what made you get into like public speaking?
Oh man, both my grandfathers were pastors. That's like one of the few things that they had in common. So, besides both being from like the deep south, they both were ministers. So growing up, just spending so much time in church, I always watched like, great orators, men who could speak and carry a room. And then with my love for, hip hop, in high school, me and my boy, shout out Black, aka Devin Cole, we used to have a rap group. So
Devin the dude.
that's right. This is man. Happy belated birthday to him, by the way. And
Happy Black
we
man.
yeah, man. So we started a rap group. So after a while, you get a little older, and just want to keep being able to get a message out. So a friend of mine, when I worked at the university, when I first got to Maryland, he was like, "You ever thought about doing public speaking?" And I was like, "Nah, not really." Took a public speaking class at Langston and got an A. So I was like, "Well, I'll try my hand." So I started doing workshops at local colleges and like local leadership development sessions, and then started getting paid for it and saw it as a way of getting some extra income. And I stopped. Yeah, hey, money's always good, right? So
Absolutely.
I stopped doing it for a little bit, and then when I got back into higher ed, I started doing it again. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Let me ask you a question. For the listeners, what does Greek life mean to you?
Mm.
So, we'll get through all the formalities first off. Shout out to the greatest fraternity known to man, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity
Mm.
Incorporated, especially the Beta Epsilon chapter, Langston University, May 6, 1947. And really, man, it was just Greek life was just another pivotal, like foundational block. Like, we could all come through Langston and be great and make great contributions, but it was also in my blood. Like my grandfather's a Sigma, and he also was the first city council, African American male city councilman in Tulsa, Oklahoma. His name was Reverend B.S. Roberts. And
Mm.
just having so much, love and influence, like him having so much influence in my life, I decided that I wanted to do the same thing. But I have Greeks all through my family. My father's actually an Omega. My mother pledged AKA. My grandmother's AKA. My
Wow.
aunt is the former Southeast Regional Director for Delta Sigma Theta. Both her daughters AKAs. Like I have another aunt who was a line sister to a past national AKA president. So, my aunt was a Zeta. So I have Greeks all through my family. And I
It's
think
a
that's
lot of
just
history.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just being a third generation HBCU student on top of that. Like my grandmother graduated from Fort Valley in Georgia. My grandfather went to Albany State in Georgia. So my mother went to Morris Brown. So it was all through the family, man. So I knew when I got to college I wanted to be Greek. And just so happened that, getting to Langston that, Sigma was the way for me. But it's my job, and I love it. And really, it's just really more of a fallout of loving college life so much. When I left Langston, I knew that I wanted to be able to give back to me what I received while I was there.
Right.
And so I left and I started working at Coppin State in Baltimore. Shout out to Coppin. And then Winston-Salem State in North Carolina. And then took some time off, and did some other things. And now I'm back at Bowie State. Bulldog Nation, stand up. So, that's what we do, man. So yeah, Greek life is everything, and it's a very pivotal part of HBCU life. Like you
Right.
can't really have HBCU life or college life without Greek life. So yeah,
Okay.
Respect, respect.
for sure.
So, how has the culture changed since you left Langston versus now, as far as HBCUs?
Oof. Uh, Speaking specifically, like just to Langston, like you know how it is when you're an alum or you listen to your old heads, man. In my day, we had to walk 35 miles to school with
Right,
no shoes
right,
on. Yeah.
Right.
But it's like going back to Langston, man, the new student center is crazy. The field, like when I played football at Langston, we had one side with the steel bleachers and barely a scoreboard on grass. Now they got the latest turf,
Mhm.
nice skybox. The basketball complex was done while I was still there, but they made a lot of great improvements to the university. So new academic buildings. So I've definitely seen Langston's improvement. But as of Greek life, and just college life overall, it's just a different dynamic. Technology changes everything.
Right.
So,
right, right.
everything that's going on with COVID, people having to take virtual classes. I'm fortunate enough to work at a university that does what's called a hybrid model. So we still allowed our freshmen to move in on campus, but they took their classes virtual. And we saw some good and some bad in that. So this semester, we're actually going to go to a full model where they'll be able to take classes face to face. Because the one thing that this pandemic has showed me is that human interaction is essential. Like it's
Mhm.
cool to be able to get on a Zoom or a chat, or FaceTime and talk to somebody, but being in the same space and sharing the same energy with that person is so important.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely.
that's really, yes, and that's where we really are right now. But in regards to Greeks, like their platform is so much bigger now. Social media has made it like crazy. Like back in the day when I was Greek, you had to road trip to gain a reputation. So, we was always in Pine Bluff or down in Texas or, Louisiana, maybe Missouri, sometimes Tennessee. But like now, it's like you can post a video on Instagram, and 2 million people like your video. Now you instantly famous, you
Hey,
know.
but you know what, Steve? Just thinking why when you said that, to me it made it. I think it would have be more interesting for you to go out of town instead
Of
of being
course.
on because you that full experience of going to a different college and hanging out over there. You know what I'm saying? Is
Yeah.
way better than this internet for sure.
You never lied. I mean, I love like we at our chapter we call it being road trip certified, and I'm definitely road trip certified. Like I loved it, man. And
Yeah.
you in hotel rooms, you might crash in the bathtub and sleep on the dresser. You might go head to foot, but we in that thing and we going wherever we going. Whether
Right.
we was in Pine Bluff, it might be PJs during homecoming, and we was in Grambling. They had this little hole in the wall club, but it used to really jump. So just stuff like that, man, and really enjoying the interaction with other frat brothers from other states. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I definitely agree with you, bro.
Let me ask you this. Or could you explain to somebody who's young that might be watching this, get ready to go to college, um, how important it is to go to a HBCU,
Okay. So,
rather than a regular college. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they're both like, it's kind of like a preference. It's like, do you want a Cadillac or a Lincoln? But
Right.
I will say that there are, for a black man or a black woman, there are definitely serious advantages to going to a historically black college. Certain areas in this country, like Atlanta, Georgia, or like here in Maryland and Prince George's County, you have places where affluent blacks are common.
Mm.
But like where we grew up in Tulsa, like you had some professionals on the north side, but once you left the north side, you really weren't seeing a lot of African American professionals. So to be on a campus, and when I was at Langston, all our VPs were African American. Most of my professors were African American. All the professional staff, If that's not a motivation, I don't know what is. And just to be comfortable. Like I always tell this joke, I say I graduated from Langston and moved back to Tulsa the summer after I graduated. And I was like, where did all these white people come from? You know what I'm saying? And and it's no shade, but it's just like I wasn't used to that. Like being around my people for the 5, 6 years I was in undergrad, it was like I got comfortable with that. And that's one of the reasons when I moved to the East Coast that I chose the area that was heavily populated African American because
Mm,
it's just something to say to go around and like my dentist is black, my doctor is black, the owner of the local dry cleaners is African American, stuff like that. Just having those interactions, which really was the model for Black Wall Street altogether. And so,
right.
yeah, I love the HBCUs. I woke up to Black excellence every day, in my opinion. And yeah, for those of us that go there, we know it's the ratchet, and you had the issues sometimes of waiting the financial aid line. You don't get your check from financial aid till 3 months in. Sometimes,
Waiting on that
whatever
check,
it
boy.
may be.
That's
Yeah, but that's the character building that makes you tough. Our motto at Langston is you can make it at Langston, you can make it anywhere, from Langston to the world. And that's
Yeah.
facts, man. So yeah, that's my HBC experience. And that's why I would definitely say, even if you don't graduate from an HBCU, spend your first 2 years of undergrad there. If you feel like you want to transfer, by all means do so. But
Yeah, that's fair.
I will encourage my kids. They know my money is black. So, if they get a full ride to Harvard, hey, I salute you. Go ahead and go. If that full ride ain't there, you can just go to Howard, Tennessee State, Langston University, Prairie View. We all good. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. We're gonna put you in the hot seat, just cool and barber chair as far as top 5 classic albums or MCs. Which one you want to pick?
Oh, man,
Pick your poison.
no albums.
So what is your top 5 classic rap albums then?
So these are my top
Today,
five.
tonight. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate that because they can very well change. But
Right.
the first one definitely is "It Takes a Nation of Millions" by Public Enemy.
mm,
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, at that time, man, what they were doing was just so groundbreaking, like that Bomb Squad production. Like a lot of folks don't know it, but if you listen to early Bomb Squad production, that was really the emphasis of where the Dr. Dre sound came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that whole thing was like pretty much. Okay, I don't know what mommy's phone. I'm doing a podcast. My son says hello, y'all. Excuse
what up? What up? What up?
me.
What up, nephew?
Yeah. So yeah, but it takes a nation a million. Like it's a song called what's the song called? Uh, it's like Black Chaos and Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos or something like that. But if you listen to it, it sounds just like an early Dr. Dre beat. It starts out, I got a letter from the government
Yeah.
the other day. We read it. Yeah, opened and read it, said we were suckers. So like that. And then just Chuck D, like he's probably in our generation we know Chuck D, but he's like one of the most slept on MCs. Like it's like foundational principles. One of the first to truly be conscious on the mic. That's where like the whole late '80s black nationalism. We swapped out the gold chains for the
Hmm.
medallions. So like
You
that
know
was just
what's so crazy is he's never mentioned in anybody's top 5. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just thought about that. Go ahead, my
no,
brother.
no, and that's why I say he's so slept on. Like Chuck D was like amazing to me, like back in the day, and it's crazy because it's funny. Him and MC Hammer started rapping around nationally being broadcast rapping around the same age, but like nobody ever looked at Chuck D as being like out of touch or out of date. If anything, he was setting trends. So yeah,
Right.
that's probably number one. Number two would be Eric B and Rakim, Eric B for president.
Mm,
Like that's like Rakim is the embodiment of the modern MC. Like when you look at like the dudes before him, like Curtis Blow and Run DMC. I sit on the chair and everywhere. I get to the barbershop and got fresh hair. It was just like, that was a style. But then, when
Right.
Rakim came in, you know what I'm saying? I used to roll up. This is a hold up. You know what I'm saying? Just smooth, effortless delivery. And that's really where rap, generated to afterwards. And even nowadays, like that's still, I call it that smooth flow is like, in vogue. So that's definitely in my top five.
that's two.
Um, that's two. All
That's
right.
two.
I probably got some honorable mentions. I'm just gonna let you know that off top. So, Ice Cube Death Certificate. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
Mm,
West Coast
that
hip hop at its finest.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Steady Mob is one of my favorite songs. And just it was so many comical references in there. Uh, what do you say? Got up, bust a nut, put on my white. Hey, how we doing?
My sister-in-law sent it.
Hey,
Oh, what's
sister,
going?
how you doing?
Where you supposed to be on the cast? What you doing?
You supposed to be
She,
on the cat.
Ah, here she go.
I'm ordering my hoodie soon, sister-in-law. I appreciate the
Yeah,
love.
she's supposed to be on the cast.
Yeah,
What is she
but
doing? Why she ain't at work? Tell her.
Hey, right here, right now in this universe. Go ahead, Steve. Man.
yes, sir.
Talk to her
So
later.
yeah, but yeah, she threw me off a little bit. But nah, death certificate is definitely on there. And then summer vacation. Like when I try to explain to people what when LA gang culture came to Oklahoma, I tell them to listen to Summer Vacation. You know what I'm saying? Like 85, 86. Like I remember being a young kid starting to see like the blue writing on the walls, and graffiti and stuff like that. And Summer Vacation is a perfect way to like, talk about that. Except he just used St. Louis instead of Tulsa, but it's the same thing, you know. So that album definitely. And then, next I gotta go with my favorite all-time group, Outkast, AT Aliens. You know, a lot of people wonder why I don't pick Southern Playalistic. I love Southern Playalistic. It was a great foundational album. But when you listen to like the true growth, it's on AT Aliens. Like Three Stacks, like grew leaps and bounds on that album. You know what I'm saying? So that's my favorite Outkast album. So it gotta be in my top five. And then
What was that? 4 or 3?
that's four.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm gonna give y'all gonna make me pick. I'm gonna be mad. I got two more left. Can I do a top six?
You can do a
Yeah, go
6.
ahead, sir.
All right.
Yeah, bro.
So then next will be UGK Riding Dirty. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a staple where we from. A lot of people don't really know about that album. When I talk to people out here about it, they just know like UGK post Big Pimpin'. They don't know anything before that. But the way that album narrates the whole like prison thing with the guy telling the stories from inside, I've been able to picture that whole album. So it's always been one of my favorites. And then Notorious Big Life After Death, double disc. It's like a cornucopia of music. Like I can hear some West Coast and going back to Cali. He battling with Bone Thugs on Notorious Thugs. I got a story to tell. My Downfall, one of my favorite songs. Yeah. So it's like that album alone just like was vicious and really cemented Big. Like, we used to say he was the greatest back then. Now I say he's in my top five, you know. And then honorable mentions would be The Diary, Scarface, Redman, What the Album, Wu-Tang in the 36 Chambers, and Tribe, The Low End Theory.
Ooh,
Tribe was hard.
Super hard.
killed it. Like, man, okay.
Tribe is
Hard, man. Like
Tribe is hard.
it was crazy, like especially like when you live in like I say Oklahoma's the Southwest. Like when I lived in Missouri, the Midwest, like nobody was checking for Tribe at the time. But like I remember when I saw like I left my wallet in El Segundo video, I was like, these dudes is different. And then I was a
Right.
fan ever since then. Like the Scenario remix, you couldn't tell me like Hot Sex on a Platter, um, like all those songs was just like killer to me. And like I think Fife is one of the most slept on MCs in hip hop. Like just effortless delivery,
Yeah.
great storytelling. If you a sports fan, he killed it with the sports references. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are my honorable mentions.
Speaking of sports, who's your squad? Who you running with this year?
Oh man, what's
Football
cool?
wise, football.
Well, my squad just won a Super Bowl. I've been a Bucks fan since I was 13 years
I
old.
think you on the
You know,
wagon. You on the bandwagon?
No, he's
uh,
going to
see, I got to run it down. Shout out to all my
Here we
family
go.
on Dale Mabry in Tampa, Florida, Big John's Barbecue on 40th and Hillsboro. I'm I'm Oklahoma gentleman, but my roots come from Tampa, Florida. So I was a Dallas Cowboy fan
See there
until
we.
I was about 12.
Hold on now. Wait
I
a
was about
minute.
12. My mama's a Dallas
Wait
Cowboy
a minute,
fan.
man. You can't
Drew
just
Pearson, our homeboy.
hold up, man. You can't just hop teams, brother.
Oh, I had to, bro. Everybody became a
Ah,
Cowboys fan. It became cliche to be a Cowboys
that,
fan. So you say,
but
you
that's
know what?
you got to ride or
I hope
die
this
with
was
us.
Nah, man. I had to hop when I was about 12, 13. I hopped the fence and I never looked back,
Oh, that's
man.
horrible.
You know what I'm saying? I had to go
I'm,
find a team in the creamsicle, orange, and
I
red.
might have to edit this out the podcast.
Yeah, hey, do what you feel, but I'm telling you, it's Bucks Nation on mine.
I'm gonna edit
You
this
know what I'm
out.
saying? And so happy for them, man, because I was with them in the years when they was barely winning. Dudes wearing paper bags on their heads in the stands, like the Saints. Like it was rough, man. The Yucks, he's called the Tampa Bay Yucks.
Was
You
you
know
a
what I'm saying?
was you a fan when Warren Sapp was there?
That's my
Oh
all-time
yeah,
favorite player. You
Mmm.
could
I remember.
tell me at Tulsa Central High School I wasn't Warren Sapp. You know what I'm saying?
Mmm.
That's who I wanted to pattern my game after. So yeah, Sapp was my favorite player, and he was on probably arguably the best defense of all time, Hall of Fame defense. It was Sapp. They have a Hall of Famer at every level now. Sapp at tackle, Brooks at linebacker, and then Lynch is going into the Hall of Fame this year at safety. And
Mm.
they probably gonna get Barber, Rondé at corner in a couple years. Best
So
defense.
are y'all? So are y'all gonna repeat as Super Bowl champions?
No.
I ain't gonna say that, but I got to we're gonna make it back to the at least the divisional round. I think
Division.
I told everybody that would listen last year, all they needed was a quarterback. I will be clear. I am not a Tom Brady fan whatsoever, but I am not mad at
Mm.
the Bucks got him and won a Super Bowl
I'm
because all
hating.
they needed was a guy with some leadership. And a guy that he still got a live arm. He can still make the best decisions. So I appreciate Brady for coming and giving my team a ring. But yeah, I wasn't a Brady fan.
Can you speak about HBCU sports?
Oh man.
Mm.
Okay. Like
Especially now
what
Dion's
aspect?
there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We didn't
state.
talk about J State. But I'll speak about it from a player aspect. Like there's so many negatives that are talked about when it comes to HBCU sports. You don't get the same coaching, you don't get the same development.
Mm.
The only thing I can say, because that's one thing about Tulsa. Like, my boy Rocky was at OU the same time I was at Langston. BJ Tiger was at O State the same time we was at Langston. And I would talk to some of those guys. Even some friends that I met that was playing ball at those teams.
Mm.
And it was just, man, that they had the facilities, they had the money behind them. We just didn't have it at Langston. But I tell folks all the time, my freshman year at Langston, we had more NFL scouts to check out a guy named Noel Scarlett than any other team in the state.
Mm.
I remember in
Mm.
preseason camp, it was the Dolphins, the Niners, the Raiders, the Jets, the Vikings, and I want to say back then it might have been the Oilers. They were all there just to watch this man work out. 6'5", 300 pounds, ran a 5 flat 40 and bench press 625 pounds. No lie, the bar would bend. I
Mm.
promise you. And if he's watching this, shout out Noel. But, Langston would always sneak in a draft pick about every other year.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of been the mantra of HBCUs. If you want to come somewhere in the trenches, get developed, 'cause people won't even often talk about this, but probably all the way through the 90s when you had guys like Mathis from Bethune-Cookman and I can't remember the safety from Howard, but people came to HBCUs to find DBs because at HBCUs you play man coverage the whole time.
Mm.
So it's like if I can play man coverage the whole game, and now I get to go for an NFL team where I got coverage over the top in the cover three or cover two, my job is easy. So
Right.
yeah, man, yeah, HBCU football, and then it's just regal, man. It's an experience. I tell people all the time, yeah, bowl games are cool, but you got to go to a classic.
Yeah.
You got to go somewhere where the marching bands is humming, where you might get some fried catfish in the parking lot before you walk in, where the Greeks is gonna be, doing their thing, and just the atmosphere is just gonna be, lit, man. And I love it. I love that I was a part of it. I love that it's still true to this day. COVID kind of knocked everything back, but it's cool to see the SWAC playing in the spring, and I think it's really a good lane for them getting exposure right now.
Do you think HBCU sports is going to be changing now that Deion Sanders has a head coaching job? You
I
think that?
pray
You
so.
think? I mean, as far as like the level, because what?
Yeah.
I mean, go up to maybe.
No, trust me, I get you. That was the first thing I thought, man. I
Mm.
really pray that it does. It depends on what other teams will see what he's doing and be able to bite. Like Dion is iconic,
Right.
so I knew he was going to recruit. I knew he was
Exactly.
going to utilize his resources. Like they say, the value of Jackson State's football program went up like $20 million
Mm.
since he's been there. Through endorsements, through like partnerships. Like they had a Nike deal. But people don't understand. Like in college sports, they have different levels of deals. Like you have deals that you pay for, and
Mm.
you have deals that are sponsored. So a team like OU, they're sponsored Jordan. So
Mm,
they normally don't pay for that kind of stuff. Or
gotcha.
like, when I was at Langston, we paid for, the program paid for uniforms. They paid for sweatsuits, which means like one year we may get some cotton hoodie Jones, and the other year we might get some Nike, Super Tech stuff. But it
Gotcha.
just depends on how the year was before. But like with these partnerships that the D1s get, the big time D1s get, it's love every year. But Dion brought it to Jackson State with Under Armour.
Right.
So now, like, they got multiple sets of uniforms. They get multiple gear. He got Strahan to suit and boot, the team with professional business apparel when they
Mm,
travel. Like, that stuff is unheard of in HBCU.
right.
So
Right.
I'm really excited. I just want the quality of product on the field to reflect what he's doing in recruiting
That's my
because
next
he's,
question. Do you think
yeah.
that he'll get better recruits down there now? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
he already
Like people,
has. He got
like
a kid.
let's
Go
just say
ahead.
somebody want to be like, oh, instead of me going to UCLA, I'm gonna go over there with Dion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
It's
do you
already
think they'll
happened.
get drafted though?
Yeah. Now, see, that's the second part of the question, but
Mm,
I'm gonna touch on what you just said.
okay.
This already happened. He got a kid, the John Warren. He was the number one college JUCO cornerback in the nation. Number one. He had Georgia, I want to say Alabama, and somebody else in his top three, and he went to Jackson State to get tutored by a Hall of Famer. They got a whole bunch of Division I transfers, Tennessee,
Mm,
um, even some other HBCUs, USC, like big time program guys are going down there. And
right.
then he got his two sons. His one son was a 4-star quarterback recruit, and his other son was starting corner at South Carolina, and they both came to Jackson State.
Gotcha.
So he's getting the talent. He's going to have to get some guys in that, at least in that second round, to continue this, because that's what it boils down to. It's like you can get the talent, but can you get the talent where it needs to go?
Mm.
And HBCUs are good for one or two guys a year going in that second round. But if he gets that consistently, second and into the first round, yeah, it's gonna be a paradigm shift, I believe.
Let me get one more question, Red, before you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um,
Then I got one.
let's just say, the only thing I'm worried about is him blowing other HBCUs out of the water as far as when they
Mhm.
playing them. You know what I'm saying? I think that's gonna kind of be unfair. So, do you bump him up in division, or because he's gonna get a lot more recruits than other HBCs.
I
At the
mean, I
beginning, but
look, yeah. I mean, I look at it like this: Oklahoma's a Division I football team. So is
right,
the University of North Texas. You can't get mad because I use the resources that I have to out recruit you. And when we play
true,
and I beat you by 50, you need to get better. It just
right,
is what it is. So, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Like watching the first game, they play Edward Waters College, which is a small AME college in Jacksonville, Florida, NAIA, like Langston.
okay,
And they did what they were supposed to do, but it was the first game. They were working out kinks. I didn't see what I thought I would see as far as the gap in talent. So it just makes me think whenever they are able to play some SWAC schools, if the SWAC schools are staying within, I would say 2 to 3 touchdowns, then that gap isn't going to be as bad as what I thought it is.
yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay. So how long do you think? And you might have already answered this, but
Mm.
how long do you think it's going to take HBCUs to be able to catch up with the Division I colleges to where it's neck and neck?
And it's just so much that plays into that we don't get to really like see. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever have that parity. It's almost kind of like asking, African Americans came out of slavery versus, the masters they served. Like, these people
Mm,
had houses, land, resources. We came out with nothing. And so there's always
right.
going to be a gap there. We get some millionaires and some billionaires here and there, but consistently, the powers that be are the powers that be.
Hmm.
So I look at it like I think there'll be a chance for some premier programs to ascend, and if we can get back to what it was like in the 60s and 70s when the best players were going to HBCUs, then yeah, I think we'll have some teams that you might see, like what happened when Howard beat UNLV. You might see that
Mm,
more
yeah.
consistently, you know. But as far as like just being parallel, like where the SWAC can compete with the Big 12, like I don't know if that'll ever happen. At least not, maybe not in my lifetime, I don't believe.
We're gonna
Okay.
we're gonna move on to college basketball. Who you running with right now? Cause I got a team right now. I think that's gonna be hard.
And with college basketball, I'm a homer, so I got to run with the Sooners. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? They were strong. They let me down the past 2 games, but they was on a nice run. Ran
Didn't they
through.
lose to Oklahoma
OSU.
OSU?
So
They lost to OSU,
Yeah.
right?
they just lost to O State in Bedlam this past a couple of
Mm.
yesterday, I think. But they beat West Virginia. They beat Kansas if ever, but Kansas is slaw right now. But they beat Kansas. They beat Texas. Like they was on really a nice tear. Number 7 in the nation. They're probably gonna fall after these 2 losses, but I think Lon Kruger has them playing small ball right now.
Yeah.
I call him Larry Bird. I can't remember his name right now to save my life, but he's
They
pretty
center?
much their center.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
seen the center.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's playing center, but really he's a swing,
He's
and
nice.
yeah, he is. He can shoot that thing too.
Hmm.
But everybody else is pretty much like 6'5", 6'3", 6'4", and they just really working on penetrating, slashing, kicking the ball out, and they playing really strong defense. So I think they may make it. I don't say deep in the tourney, but they're gonna turn some heads. So
My team right now is that I think that Fab Five is getting ready to come back. Juwan Howard got them boys down there balling.
yeah, and shout out to Jawan, man. I love it when guys do that.
Mm.
Shout out to Anthony at Memphis. Like when you go
Yeah,
back home
Anthony at
and
Memphis. I forgot about
resurrect
that.
their greatness.
All of them.
I forgot about that.
What would you say, Red? I'm sorry.
No, I was saying also big up to Patrick Ewing. They ain't doing too much this year, but just shout out
Yeah,
to him too.
You went where
yeah.
he
That was
at?
Georgetown.
Is he?
Yeah, that was my
Mm.
favorite player until Shaq came in the league, and you couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna be Shaq.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah, I forgot. Anthony got his team balling. Jawan got his team balling.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
them brothers right there. I think is I'm happy to see them come back and coach. You know.
I
yeah.
have excuse me, I have a question in the chat. You might already answer this too, Steve, but I'm gonna just ask you from the chat line. My brother asked you, why can't HBCU college sports compete with a Big 12 school?
Mm.
Oh,
Or how does that work? What's the dynamics behind that?
so let me preface this saying that I don't think that it would never not happen. But like I say, it's the abundance of resources. When Oklahoma is using jet planes to go recruit guys out in California, and we still driving cars 10 hours, you know what I'm saying? No, for real. Like you can tell.
Right.
I know coaches right now. The school I work at is a D2. They recruit in the state of Maryland, so they don't have to make them drives down to Florida or up to New York to go get players because
Mm.
there's enough talent in the state to be able to do it, but just the resource gap is just too mean. If I'm telling the kid, yeah, you can come play for us and we got a Rydell sponsorship, or you can go to OU where they get PE Jordan 5s, you know what I'm saying? It's like that gap is just too mean. And until we lessen that gap, until there's more parity in the resources that we have, it's just like saying, I'm what you would call a novice stock trader. Like I started learning how to trade stocks when I worked for a brokerage about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But it's guys whose daddy taught them how to trade stocks when they was 4 or 5 years old, gave them penny stocks to let them play with them.
Right.
That knowledge, that's something that you have to catch over time. So I'm not saying it'll never happen, but until we get, us to have more parity, us to be able to leverage that into getting better players consistently, not just snatching a gem every so often, but consistently getting better players across the board. It shouldn't take a Hall of Famer to come in and make HBCU have parity with other schools. And to be honest with you, we know that Dion also interviewed at 2 other schools before he came to Jackson
Right.
State. So, if he had gotten the Florida State job or that Arkansas job, he might not have been at JSU.
Right.
So, we got to figure out how to do this without having, somebody come in and change the game. I'm happy he did, and I hope it works that way, but we got to figure out how to do it ourselves.
Um, Switch gears for a moment. I seen the best versus battle last night.
Oh man, I must have been in a hole because
You didn't see the
They
D'Angelo joint?
I did not. Man,
Ah.
I was lunchbox, man. I was out. Like I happened to look at my phone today and I just saw all these comments and I was like, it was a versus last night.
Yo.
So then I go and see, I was like, oh, it's D'Angelo. And I saw the highlights, with Method Man and him doing what's the saying, makeups to breakups and
yeah.
Yo.
him on the live stuff. I was like, man, so I caught bits and pieces of it. I'm gonna go back and watch the whole thing,
You
just
gotta
vibe
watch the
out.
whole thing because
Yeah.
there's one segment in there where he gets on the piano
Mm.
and he plays tribute to Prodigy.
Oh man,
That
I gotta check that out,
Yeah, that was one of the best verses I done seen. I was like, oh man, what you think? What has been your best verses you seen?
man. I'm a versus enthusiast, which I was so mad I missed that. So I think my favorite was definitely Gucci
You like
and
the
yeah, you know. Man,
Hey, hold on. Was you ready?
Y'all keep going. I'll be right back. Y'all keep going.
Wait,
go
Pardon me. Y'all
ahead.
keep going.
hold on. Was you
Keep going.
ready? Was you ready for some gunplay? You thought it was gonna
Nah,
happen, huh?
man, you know, when my people is out, I'm never here for the ratchet, man. I want to see us be
I
the
wanted to
kings
see
of
the
country
ratchet.
that
You
we are.
see, I
You
was
say
ready
what?
for. I was ready for the
You
ratchet.
people love the ratchet, like you know. When you was a kid, then fights break out. You was front and center.
Hey,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
was ready for the
We
ratchet, but
we,
but
we, we love to we love to see it, but nah, I'm a Jeezy fan, you know, and I mess
mm,
with Gucci. You know, I some songs that I like, but I really wanted to see because everybody was like, man, Jeezy's catalog can't stack up to Gucci's. But Jeezy being the strategist that he was, he pulled the hits out at the right
hey,
time.
I
You know what I'm
forgot.
saying?
I forgot Jeezy had some of them hits that he has, man.
Yeah.
I forgot all about them. You know, especially that one where he had with Jay Z. I had forgot about that.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, and see, and that's the difference because you know Gucci stay in them streets. Gucci like
Mm,
Tupac, he make music all the time. You know what I'm saying? Just like was repeating this repetitive, bam, bam, bam. Jeezy, you know, he more that polished. You know, he make albums. He, you know, you go get some mixtapes here and there, but he make albums. So
yeah.
like Jeezy, Gucci was trying to hit with the mixtapes classes, which you know in the underground we listen to those. You know, it's a song called "On Deck," which if you from Baltimore, Maryland, that is like your anthem. It's a
Right.
dance they do called a Baltimore two step, and when that song come on, the whole club lose their mind.
I'm
So
su-
like,
I'm surprised you didn't say Too Short and E40.
oh man, so like that, that's definitely in my wheelhouse because I didn't listen to a lot of Short as a kid because
You
I
didn't?
was I was I was an East Coast fan, man.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
and you know, like growing up, I didn't like the cussing. I was like 8, 9 years old. I didn't want to call no woman a bitch. You know what I'm saying? So you know that happened more in middle school.
Right.
But my favorite two Short songs was a song called "Short but Funky." You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like I
That's
listened to that song all day, and it actually was clean.
yeah.
So when I listened to that, and then when I moved back to Tulsa, like you know, Tulsa is where the South and the West meet. So that's all I really heard
Right.
when I got back to Tulsa. And so like, you know, like I think Cocktails came out like my junior year. And it actually me and my boy Devin had the privilege of being able to open up for Too Short because it's
You and Devin? I don't
yeah,
believe,
our
what
oldest
year was
sister
this? I
Tommy.
don't believe that, man. Y'all wasn't
No,
rapping
ask
like
you.
y'all
Ask you.
wasn't rapping like
We was in
that.
the we was in the VIP and everything. Two high
I
school
need both of
dudes in
y'all
the
to
VIP.
I need both of y'all to spit a 16 soon.
Oh man.
I
Well,
need
you call him on here and I will spit a 16 for
Well,
you.
we
y'all
gonna
shoot
get
that to
Devin
me.
on here.
I'll go in the chat.
We
And
gonna
get
get
him on.
we gonna get Devin on here, and I need
But
both of y'all to spit a 16. It
but
gotta
yeah,
be
but really,
hard. Gotta be
oh
hard.
come on now. I still got it's like riding the bike, you don't forget. You know what I'm
What was the
saying?
name of y'all rap group, you and Devin? What was the name of y'all rap group back then?
So we started out, we were realistic players, and then
Realistic Play.
Hey,
we changed to trillistic ones, that can't just trill ones, and then yeah, man, I was Prime and he was Black Caesar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Black.
look. If y'all can spit 16, I got some beats for y'all. Red on the beats. Red
I
got a couple of joints.
I think when I first started seeing you coming up and doing big things, I know I put something in your chat like, hey, send me something. Hit me some in my
I think you
inbox
did. I think you
because
did.
it's on my bucket
I
list
thought
to
you was
make
playing though.
This when I had MySpace. I don't even remember that one. I don't
no,
know
no,
what
no, that was Q, Red. That was Q.
I,
Oh, we
But
talking about
nah,
kids that
I remember. I remember, but
yeah,
I thought you
it's
was joking, man.
I
I
wasn't.
didn't know
I
you
wasn't
and
at
Black
all.
actually had a group.
Yeah, we did, man. But nah, it was on my bucket. It's on my bucket list to do a 5 song EP before I leave this. I don't know how old I'm gonna be, but I'm gonna do one just so I can put it out because me and Black, we did some songs. But we never put a whole pack, you know, album out. Then when I got to Langston, he kept rapping and got with my boy Illusion out of Oklahoma City, and they formed another group. But I was playing football, so I didn't have time to really do that. But yeah, man, really, we got on stage because shout out to Player 1000 and the Deekster. They opened up for Too Short. We served as they hype men. So I ain't gonna embellish too hard, but we got on stage and we did it a couple of times. When Lil Kiki came to Oklahoma City, when Queen Pen came to Tulsa, we did it a couple times, man. So
I didn't know
yeah,
y'all was that hot, man. I know y'all was on the streets like that, man. I'm gonna have
yeah.
to.
Shout out to Player 1000 Adista, man. They opened up the door, let us walk through. We was doing
Mm.
shows. Yeah, just stay hype, man. Get on stage, maybe kick a little couple freestyle bars here and there, but we just kind of tried to warm the crowd up for them before they came on.
Devin's in the live chat. He said all facts. I'm gonna have to
All
see, man. I don't know. Hey, but look,
all
the next verses he don't want to battle me with Marco. He, you know, he got it. He got his DJ. He got his DJ out, man. But he's scared. Marco ain't. He's scared to battle. So Steve, I need you to set that up for verses.
okay. Between you and Marco.
Me and Marco, I'm ready. I told him he ain't.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Marco and Devin is my A1 day one. I know Marco since he was born.
Ooh.
Marco does a lot of things very well, but DJing is not one of them. Okay, Marco can cook.
No.
That's my guy. That's my guy. His taste in music is impeccable, but it's no fade, it's no blend, it's just like we just gonna go right into the next one. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. Marco probably gonna call me. He probably gonna call me while I'm on this
Look,
podcast.
he said.
Be all calm like, say,
Look,
bro.
hey,
Look.
Mark. He said he ready for the smoke. He said, and
That's the pretty boy of the clique. Like Marco ain't never had no problems doing nothing. He played basketball. He had all
hold
the
on.
girls.
Wait, hold on.
But DJing
Hold
is
on,
not his
Steve.
strong suit.
Hold on, Steve. Marco never had a jumper. Let me just make that clear.
Ooh wee.
He never had a jumper.
I gotta differ with you. See, you know, he was up north in Buffalo, but I seen his highlight tape.
He's
And
garbage.
then
He got an
was like,
inside game, but his jumper is not wet.
He played for Carver, Steve. Remember he played for Carver before
you
he went
see,
to Buffalo?
so I left before he did. When y'all was at Carver, I was either in Missouri or Ohio. So I never saw him, but I knew Marco could play. Marco was dunking when he was 12. I used to hate that. I'm like, come on, let's do some push-ups. I can do more push-ups than you. But that dude had bunnies when he was 12, man. So no.
He got it. I will give him that. His inside game is cool, but his jumper is kind of like. No.
You got to watch his Bennett high school highlight film,
Man,
Q. I'm telling you.
I
He
don't
pull up at
believe
the
that,
free
man.
throw line and just dropping people off.
Who was guarding him though? Wasn't nobody guarding him. Exactly.
Some dude from New York.
Nobody
They play better
guarding him.
basketball than we do down here.
He's trash.
He gonna have to convert all that to the VCR to like digital for y'all to see. I seen on VCR.
Yeah, it's on analog. It's on analog.
No, we don't. No,
It's on some Bobby
analog.
Digital. It's definitely on some Bobby Digital.
His jumper's analog.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. He got an analog jumper. It ain't digital.
You out here being reckless.
Listen,
man.
I didn't already. I played with Marco. I know he's garbage. He's trash. He got an inside game, but his jumper.
See, I feel like you put me in a position, man. I'm a tourist. I'm super loyal. I can't let you talk about my friend the same way I wouldn't let nobody call your jumper garbage.
Hey, listen.
So, hey, fellas, let's transition into who you got segment. Q is gonna jump it off, man. He's gonna put us all in the hot seat. Who you got segment? Q.
All right,
who you got segment?
All right, who you got, man? You know what? I'm gonna go with football on this.
Oh, okay.
Who you got, man? Quarterback wise, I'm gonna go with Donovan McNabb or Warren Moon.
Damn. That's man.
Yeah.
I mean, time is ticking, and I don't want to be too much awkward silence. So I'm just gonna make an impulse pick.
I mean, you know, both of them back in their heydays. Who would you rather?
I gotta go with Moon.
I go with Moon.
And for the youngsters, please explain how Warren Moon was back in the day.
So Warren Moon was a true pocket passer. And that's one thing that they said that black quarterbacks can be. This is also the era of Randall Cunningham, who was like, Mike Vick before Mike Vick. They didn't have Mike Vick's speed. Let's get that understood.
Right.
He get out their pocket and he makes some shake, you know. But nah, but Warren Moon was a true scientist. Like he will first down your ass all the way to the end zone. And he had the arm strength to chuck it about 50, 60, 70.
I mean,
You
but
know,
Nab was that pocket passer too, though. He wasn't too
he
bad.
was, but Nab really was a combination of Cunningham and Moon. Like he
Right.
had a little wiggle to him. He could get outside the pocket and make
True.
some shape.
True.
So I don't that's really a tough comparison. But I just picked Moon because Moon played in that era. He played long enough to where like he was in that concussion era
Mm-hmm.
up to
Yeah.
modern days when things got a little better. But he was a model of consistency. He would play hurt. Just that Iron Man, like that old school football that I coach it now. I try to get kids to kind of understand. And I say you should play hurt,
Right.
but just kids are very entitled nowadays. They don't understand what it's like to push through adversity. And Warren Moon, he wasn't traditional. I think he played in the Canadian League before he even got to the NFL.
Yeah,
So
he
just that
did.
respecting that grind, man. Like it's not always given to you. Sometimes you got to go get it. So that's why I picked Warren Moon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
All right. We have another segment called Helpful Tips. This is on you again. So, what are the requirements or steps to apply for fraternities and sororities? What is that process like? What are the requirements?
So certain things change campus to campus, but the basics are still the same. GPA. In most campuses, it's between a 2.5 and a 2.7. And my campus is a 2.7 GPA, which is really a C plus.
Okay.
Um, on HBCU campuses, you don't have to be a first semester sophomore, but at PWIs, you can do it as a second semester freshman.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
community service hours definitely play a key in being active on campus. Um, and then just making yourself like be a model candidate. Like I look at it like, you know, when guys recruit players, they talk to everybody. Like I looked at some tweet where a recruiter was going to offer a kid and talked to the lunch lady, and she was like, "He be acting up." He said, "Well, there goes his scholarship," and he left. You know, and it's just like on a college campus, it's always eyes. People are always watching to see what you do and how you carry yourself. So just be conscious of that because you're going into something that you're trying to represent that's a legacy. Most of our organizations are over 100 years old with congressmen, senators, Supreme Court justices, Hall of Fame athletes. And it's like you're entering into something with these men and women that makes it like truly special. So carry yourself as if you were already in that organization. And it's so hard for kids nowadays because thank God they did not have social media when I was in school. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm.
Because I
Wow.
on somebody's video, somebody's timeline, all of that.
Yeah.
So you really have to be
Yeah.
conscious of your brand
Right.
and just saying, hey, like I gotta make sure I'm not out here wilding because if it's seen, it could affect my chances of joining one of these organizations.
If let the people know if they wanted to reach out to you and maybe talk to you about Black College, or maybe even try talk to you about sorority life or fraternity life. Where can they find you at, bro?
Okay. So my IG is just simple as Oklahoma, the state underscore gentleman. And if you want to talk to me about like official college information, I'll give you my actual email at work. It's S is in Sam, my last name, Stevens, STEPHENS at bowiestate.edu. If you're looking for anybody to come out and do workshops or sessions, you can look on our website, which is Lead Firm Speaks. You can Google it. And if you go on the speakers, I have a profile there with my communication information for Lead Firm. But yeah, I love to mentor and develop. So if you think you want to come to a HBCU, please reach out to me. One of my good friends from back home now has a niece from Vegas, and she's looking to come to Bowie. So I'm trying to
Mm.
help guide her. So it's just like, yeah, man, this is my passion. I really believe that everybody deserves the HBCU experience. I have so many of my friends that went to PWIs that was like, man, if I had to do over again, I'd have went to a HBCU. So
My only thing, man, is now that the COVID has hit, man, I, they're not gonna get that full experience. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Soon, hopefully everything lifts up and everybody get. But that experience that we had
yeah.
was a one of the best experiences I've ever had at
Yeah,
HBCU
nah,
for sure.
and I totally understand, and I'm the same way. And it's
Yeah.
just like all we can do is adapt and adjust, which we're doing. Like,
Right.
our we have a new VP at my university who's really pushing us to think outside the box and make sure that we are doing things that are still being able to keep students interactive. We make sure that we adhere to social distancing guidelines, temperature checks are done. I just approved the Kappas and the Omegas have a basketball game. It was yesterday.
Mm.
And they did when they had people there, but you just had to make sure you came in with your mask on, your temperature was checked when you got there, we had a social distance. So, our university is slowly starting to bring itself back into doing physical programming. Shout out to my colleague, her name is Thomasina Bordley. She works in student government. They actually had a live go-go concert and had some rappers actually come on campus
Mm.
to like where students could be there in person and see these artists. But once again, mask and social distancing.
Right.
So we're slowly working our way back into it. It won't be like when you had 1,000 people in the auditorium and everybody was shoulder
Right.
to shoulder, but it doesn't mean that you still can't get some of that experience.
Now,
And
also,
I'm just
I didn't mean to
go
cut
ahead.
you off. One more quick question is also let you know because I do have a couple of Latino people that be listening to. Let them know about how HBCU life for them can be. Because
Yeah,
I know we
appreciate
talked offline, and they also got fraternities for them as well. So,
you. Yeah, and so pretty much right now, like universities are starting to realize that the demographics for like traditional college students, African American, um, Caucasian American, et cetera, starting to wane. But what's picking up is Hispanic and Latin American students going to college.
mm,
And so there are new things that are being offered, new grants, new scholarships. And so they're taking full advantage of it. So I know at my HBCU and a lot of HBCUs, you're starting to see where they are recruiting Latin and Hispanic students at a very aggressive rate. Our new VP, Dr. Clemens, has come in and he's bringing like a lot of students down from New York and New Jersey,
mm,
and we have a strong population. So because of that, we're in the process of chartering a Latin sorority on campus called Sigma Lambda Gamma.
mm,
And so all Latin young ladies, but they're open to all creeds and races, Caribbean, Latin, African American, doesn't matter.
mm.
But they were founded by Latino women. I want to say at Texas Tech University, like no, University of Iowa
Okay.
in
Wow.
1996. Yeah,
Wow.
Iowa. I know, right? Yeah, but and then we call them my cousins in Sigma because their brother fraternity was founded by a Sigma. And he was a Sigma, but he realized he thought that his people needed to share the same Greek life experience, and
Yeah.
so he founded. I think it's Sigma Lambda Beta, I believe. I could be wrong, and if I am, brothers, I apologize to y'all. But and then Sigma Lambda Gamma came from that.
Okay.
So yeah, there's definitely places that are starting to understand that and making sure that we're accommodating to our Hispanic and Latin brothers and sisters. And also our African brothers and sisters that come over, and go to school, because that's one thing about being in this area is a strong Nigerian
Mm,
presence, a strong Ghanaian presence,
yeah.
Central African presence. Like, so we get a lot of those students as well. And we also have a strong Middle Eastern presence on our campus as well. So diversity is running very strong on HBCU campuses right now.
All right. If that's it, I'm gonna leave a closing quote to end the show. This quote is by Langston Hughes. I'm gonna keep it real simple. I have discovered in life that there are ways of getting almost anywhere you want to go, if you really want to go. By Langston Hughes. It's pretty straight to the point. So just dream big and go hard. That's what I get from that.
So, pop quiz for you, Red. Do you know why Langston Hughes' name is Langston Hughes?
Mm.
You know,
Put him on the spot, Red. Put him on the
don't
spot.
put me on the spot.
I had
You're
to
gonna
mess
tell
Look,
someone.
I don't know. I don't know.
Tell
Please
people.
tell me.
Tell us.
Langston Hughes' great uncle was John Mercer Langston, who our university was named for.
Mm.
And so that's where they took his last name and named Langston Hughes for John Mercer Langston. So you remember back in the day when you say I go to Langston and somebody didn't know, oh, you go to Langston Hughes University? No, it's named for John Mercer Langston, but that is the great uncle of Langston Hughes.
See
Mm.
how that works?
Yeah.
See how that works?
Yeah.
Mm.
But
I
nah,
did not know that. That's
Yeah.
that's good
Yeah.
information that I.
Love my
I wanted
university.
to do that. I wanted to do that tied into because we all went to Langston and graduated. So I wanted to
Exactly.
end it that quote with that. So I'm glad
I
that
didn't
you
graduate
shared
from
that with
Langston. Hold on, I didn't graduate from
was.
Langston. But I was there.
Hey,
I was
you
there.
ain't you
But
2 years. You are alumni. That you can be a member of
Right.
mm,
the
hey,
association for 2 years of student service there. So
look, that was
yeah.
the best 2 years that we had. Look, before we go, I want to know who got your Slum Village tape though. That's what I really want to
Mine.
know. Yeah, who?
I
Where's
wish
this?
I did.
Oh man,
Somebody got
AJ
Slum
might got.
Village.
Who knows, man?
AJ, I'm
Hey,
not
hey,
dry.
look,
I'm not dry snitching,
I'm gonna tell
but
y'all
I'm
this
just saying.
story, and then I'm gonna ask y'all one question if y'all let me, and then we'll get off it.
Yeah,
So
already.
my mama used to have this hot pink like neon tape case, right? That you put tapes in, like for your car, right?
Right.
So of
Wow.
course I stole it from her, right? I
Mm.
started putting all my tapes in there. So if y'all was riding with AJ, like back in high school, shout out to Miss Thel, he used to have our old Lincoln, called it the mothership, right? So time passes by. I think I come back for the summer, and we riding around. So I reach under the passenger seat of the car, and I'm like, why is this hot pink tape case here in the car? I probably had hopped in the car with AJ like back in high school and left them in there. And of course he didn't tell me, so he bumping all my tapes. My Red Man, my Scarface.
That sound about right.
Wait,
Bro, you could have told me,
hold
man.
on, wait. AJ,
You know anyway, you definitely could have told me.
y'all
But
saying
yeah,
AJ got butterfingers?
nah, he big on like not returning friend stuff. We'll say it like that. Your stuff is my
AJ, we need you, AJ. Holla at us.
LG King number 4. But
Hey,
yeah, man.
I
So
also
then
I got a videotape that I want to release, but I don't think I can release it. AJ had my camera one time when we was at Langston. I think I might have been the only one with a camera during that time. I don't know. It might have been somebody else. But
okay.
AJ got the camera, man, and he went on a little fiasco. Oh my
Look,
God, man.
listen.
That's
It's
Never
so.
AJ.
know who has your
The
tape.
Bass brothers in the
See,
house. Say what?
I said, never know who got your tape. You looking at
Ooh, oh, that.
them.
Wait, who got it? Who got it?
You. He says you. He said how he
Hey,
diverted that. I
listen,
don't know if it's true. I don't know, but
You
that's
got my
what I'm
Slum Village
thinking.
hey
CD?
man, we
My
all
Slum Village.
listen. The show's over.
No, don't wrap it up now.
Show's
I
over.
still got a question. I still got a question for y'all, man.
What's going on?
So give me your multi playlist.
Multi?
Club Multi at Langston University playlist.
Go ahead, Red. I'm gonna let you go first.
Nah. You always try to throw me out
No,
there. You
cause I
go
gotta think
first.
about it. I gotta think about it.
No,
No, all
no,
right.
you finished
Listen.
with me last week. You
Now
finished with me
listen.
last week.
Y'all want me to y'all want
Hold
me to
on.
go
Wait.
first?
Now, hold on. I'm gonna give y'all. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
give
Go
y'all
ahead,
one.
Steve.
I'm gonna give y'all one cut that
He
was
gonna
that was bumping the whole time that I remember. And it was by
Okay.
and it was by Devin. Was it Devin the dude
I don't
or
know.
Dr. Dre?
Nah, I wasn't no doctor.
Pussy, weed, and alcohol.
That's Fifth Ward Boys.
Fifth Ward
Yeah,
Yeah,
Boys. I'm sorry.
ridiculous. Okay.
yeah,
I'm so sorry, but yes, that was
yeah.
my number one jam at Motown.
You like do that stroll, didn't
Ah,
you?
that
When
was
you was
my
being
number one.
managed,
That was my number one jam. That was
being managed,
all day.
putting your hands where they shouldn't go, being managed.
What about drama?
Mm.
I think mine was drama.
What left, right, left?
Yeah, that got played a lot to
Yeah,
get the party going back in the day. Not my number
yeah,
one, but I'm just trying to remember.
yeah.
That was one of them. The one Q just said.
Yeah, for me, so I'll run through mine real quick and maybe I give y'all some ideas. So
Yeah,
anything New Orleans bounce, it's
Yeah.
like DJ Jubilee, the Bunny Hop,
one of them big.
all of that. Anything Lil Jon. So
Yeah.
Put Your Hood Up,
Yeah,
Move Bitch,
Yeah.
uh, Juvenile, probably the first 2 years, Back That Thing Up, still gets play.
Oh yeah. All day.
Uh, when the West Side would want to get live, they would play Corrupt, We Can Freak It, and Seawalk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
sugar,
what's up?
sugar free at the Lions Den. I
Yeah,
would. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's
yeah,
I forgot
shout out.
about.
Man, it's a dude named Akeem Ali. If you ain't checking for him out of Jackson, Mississippi,
Nah.
I swear he is the reincarnation of Sugar Free. Like, check him out,
Mm.
Akeem Ali. Yeah,
Akeem Ali. Okay, I'm gonna write that
Akeem
one down.
Ali. Yes. Yeah, I want to say Devin is the one that put me on to him, but dude, man, he got bars and he just doing such a smooth, effortless way. But he on that pimping kind of like Sugar Free. Check him out, Akeem
Okay.
Ali. And then
Okay.
Nitro, do the damn thing in Hennessy.
Mm.
Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Loke. And then
Yeah. Man.
anything chopped and screwed, and anything Jay Z, and that's pretty much
Dev-
my.
Devin said mystical. Here we go. Here
Oh
I
yes
go.
sir, yes
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Sigmas at Pine Bluff. They had Mystical at the club
Mm.
for their homecoming. You talking about
When was
lit?
this?
Right before he caught that case?
Mm. That
Man,
probably
yeah,
was
that's
jumping.
like 2001, 2002. But yeah, man, that was epic. Seeing it in person, just like him, David Banner, KRS-One, like they energy on stage is like Busta Rhymes, otherworldly, man.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna try to find out a way to get you that Slum Village back, man. Now that Devin put me on the spot, man. But
Man, you
listen,
can't even buy.
you might not even want that CD now,
No,
man.
don't do that.
You
You can't
got
even buy
kids.
CDs no
You
more.
got kids. You don't need that CD right now, man. Don't worry about
Why
it.
don't I?
You got
That's a
kids.
you buy CDs no more.
That's kids, man.
Since
You
we're
got.
talking about borrowing CDs, man, Steve, I still got your Mystical first CD. So
Hey.
See,
when,
this is
when
the
you on
problem.
Big Point Records.
This is the problem with leaving your door open and having all your CDs on display for all
It
your
happened to
friends
all
to
of
come
us,
in.
man. I got
Listen.
to, man. It happened to all of us,
See,
man.
while you playing, I might have one of your CDs. I know it was something that said Red on it, but I thought that was my frat brother Red and not you.
You talking about your frat brother, man. How he doing, by the way,
Man,
Yeah.
though?
Shouts out to
he doing
Red.
his thing, man. That's the Air
Yeah.
Fryer King, man, doing his thing. He was working with the Dallas XFL franchise before they got disbanded. But Red, man, he gonna find a way to hustle, so he doing his thing.
Oh, man.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good
yeah,
brother.
for sure,
Well,
for
man, we
sure.
appreciate you coming through, Steve, man.
And
And
it was great. The time flew by because of some good conversation, man.
always, man.
Anytime y'all want me back, I love to come back.
Absolutely,
All right.
we'll definitely do
All
that.
right. So
Next time we're gonna have a sports guy come on, man. I meant to give him a call this week. I dropped a
okay.
bomb on it, but we're gonna have a sports guy come on, just update us on the sports and what's going on, and
Yeah,
we'll have
y'all can bring Devin too, and we'll tell you our stories from the road. You know
yeah,
what I'm
we
saying?
need to bring you. Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
sir.
We
But before I get off, I'm gonna shout out my wife Nikki, my daughter Kennedy, my son Steve the Third. We call him Trey. My son John Benjamin, JB, and my son Mason. And love y'all, man. And shout out to all Bowie State, Langston, Winston-Salem State, Coppin State, all HBCUs in general, man. Go mob to the frat and appreciate all y'all, man. Shout out to
absolutely.
my family in Tampa and Atlanta, Georgia. Salute.
Hey man, I still don't think you. I'm upset about you not going with the Cowboys, man.
But you asked
It
Devin
hurts my heart, brother.
about my Hardy Nickerson jersey that I had back in the day. Yes.
Hey, and the quiet is kept. Marco's a Cowboy fan, but he act like he's not a fan. But let me just say that on the cast before.
Marco just too cool to be associated with a loser. That's all. When they start
Man,
winning again, he'll pop up.
yeah, he'll be back on. I already know.
Yeah, when
Absolutely.
they leave, he'll be talking again.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, man, we
All right,
appreciate it, man.
all right, y'all. Peace.
All
Yeah.
right. Peace, brother.
Salute.
Salute.